All right, this week on Camera Talk, Takumar. That's right, it's been a while since we talked Takumar, but that's what we're going to look at this week. And it's not just any old Takumar, it's the SMC Takumar 55mm 1.8. We just did the Sony Zeiss 55mm 1.8. Well, this is Takumar's version, and many, many years before the other one. This is a manual focus lens. It's another legend. It's a Takumar. What more can we say, right? So, let's find out. Is this Takumar living up to the reputation that Takumars have? We'll see. So grab yourself something to eat or drink. Perhaps something recreational to pass the time.
Oh, where have you been all my life?
We just come in with...
Oh, if you don't mind.
It's not
Okay.
really...
Get you prepared, and we shall get it on, right?
Here I am, Vietnam. Rain is always coming down.
This is Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Dylan. And what are you saying this week, mister? What are we going to talk about? Takumars. Talking Takumars. Well, not that the Takumars talk, but we're talking Takumars. And this is the SMC Takumar 55mm 1.8, and it's part of the Asahi Optical Company lineup, which later ended up being Pentax, but at this time it was still Asahi Optical. And of course it's in Japan. You know, we're always going to Japan, seems like it anyway, right?
One ticket to Tokyo, please.
So, hey, why not? Well, what do you know about Asahi Optical Company? Do you know anything about them? No. No idea, huh? Well, they started way back in 1920. You know, that was quite a while ago, right? Back when Grandma and Grandpa, oh no, sorry, Great Grandma and Grandpa for you, were just little ones of their own.
At least we're not fucking idiots.
You know, they went on from 1920 all the way through to the 1970s, and then they turned into a company called Pentax, which is still around doing their thing these days. But anyway, this Takumar, I mean, Takumars in general began in the 1960s. And why did Asahi produce Takumars in the first place? Well, because a little company called Carl Zeiss created a lens called the planar, which was kicking butt. They were #1, king of the mountain, and Asahi wanted to kick them off of that mountain. So, so they created a super Takumar. Not just a Takumar, it's a super Takumar. Yeah, super duper Takumar. And, you know, they created this Takumar to challenge the planar. And they created, at first, was an 8-element version of a 50mm 1.4. And lo and behold, they removed the planar from the top of the mountain. But it also cost Asahi an arm and a leg to produce these things, so they stopped doing that. Once they got their #1 position, they changed from an 8-element to a 7-element, which is what most of us have. I've got the 7 elements, ones up here anyway. But they still took the #1 crown, and that's the whole purpose that the Takumars even came into existence for in the first place. The other thing Asahi did too, in 1957, they created an M42 screw mount. And there's all kinds of lenses out there that follow or use this screw mount. And they went on using this, and later it just became known as the Pentax mount. But M42 mount is easy. Just everything screws on, screws off. Very simple. So it was great. The 1970s, that super Takumar turned into a super multi-coated Takumar, which added super multi-coating, right? So it was, you know, they made the outcome even better. Better colors, better contrast, and all that better. And then they just figured, well, super multi-coated something is just a long title, so they just changed it to SMC, which is what this particular Takumar has as its name. And then later on, as Pentax took over from Asahi, they became SMC Pentax, and so on and so on and so on. So, how about some specs on this thing? 6 elements in 5 groups. That's right, 6 elements in 5 groups. Its close focus is 45 centimeters, so it's pretty good. It's under half a meter. Its weakness is 6 blades. Something about the Japanese liking the 6 blade thing. You know, wide open, it doesn't make any difference at all, you know, for the out of focus background and the bokeh balls. Remember, we like our balls round, right?
Sweet, sweet bokeh.
Well, a 6-bladed aperture, especially when they're not curved, ends up with hexagon-shaped nuts. No, hexagon-shaped balls. No, nuts and balls, kind of a switch those back and forth together. But anyway, so it's only got six blades, and I think that's its real weakness as far as aesthetics goes. And it's, what, 201 grams, so it's fairly light, you know, it's fairly easy going. It's all metal, of course, except for the rubberized focus ring on it. Sharpness is not what it's known for wide open. It's sharp enough for portraits, which is what I do, right? I use my my lenses mostly for taking pictures of this guy. So portraiture being my thing is okay for open. But if you're looking for sharpness, like sharpness, you're gonna have to stop down to f4 to f8 in that range.
It actually really, really sucks.
And if you want it across the entire field from corner to corner, you're gonna have to do the f8 pretty much. So anyway, sharpness is good enough for my books anyway, but like I said, for the pixel peepers and the people who want to compare to today's clinical sharpness, you're going to have to stop down to get that. Its bokeh is all right. It's pretty good. It's out of focus background. No complaints. No complaints from me. How about you? Any complaints from you? Sounds like you're about to say something, but no. So, again, its contrast, everything is pretty decent. As far as Takumars go. Now, of course, the 50 Takumar 1.4 is the one that that everybody is clamoring over these days. But again, this 55 1.8 is pretty good, and we'll show you some shots of that too. Now, if you look this up on Pentax forum, you know they have quite a few reviews on this lens, and its average rating out of 10 is 9.33, which is pretty darn good. You know, they rate sharpness and value and usability and price and all that kind of stuff. And so 9.33 is pretty good. This particular rendition, there's 9 of these suckers, 9 different versions. I say version of this lens, and this was the last one. This is the 9th version. And
you must tie her down on a bed and spank her. You must spank her well, and after you have spanked her, you may deal with her as you like, and then spank me. And spank me. And me. And me.
It was produced from 1972 to 1975. Yeah, for 3 years they made this sucker, and then it became a Pentax instead of a Takumar. It's still economical, you know, between $50 and $100, you know, depending on the quality and who's the seller and so forth. They are radioactive. Radioactive. Thorium. What do you think about thorium? Does it scare you? Is it scary? Ah, scary thorium. It's not that scary. I mean, if you had that sucker up to your eyeball all day long, you might run into some issues. But generally, if you're shooting, you know, a few hours with it, and you've got a camera body in between your eye and this anyway, you're not really going to be that exposed. You know, barely the X-ray kind of thing, if that. Maybe flying in an airplane, maybe closer to it. So again, this was at the end of its line before they switched to non-thorium elements in there. And of course that thorium is doped right into the glass. It's not a coating. Can't scratch it off or anything like that, or it's not going to flake off. It's not like I can tap it and flake thorium onto your leg and give my little guy, you know, thorium cancer or something like that. But anyway, that's about all I can think of to tell you about this lens. It's pretty good. The construction, again, is Asahi makes some very nice lenses. You know, its depth of field scale is very cool. You know, it has its own little window for the depth of field for if you're doing zone focusing and whatnot. Other than that, you know, as I said, it's all metal and plastic. It's very small. You know, if I take the this is the M42 to NEX adapter, but if you look at that, I mean, that's smaller than a 50, and it's a 55. This is tiny. Makes you look giant compared to this. It's very tiny. See? Ooh. Look but don't touch.
That's what she said.
All right. Then we screw it back on, and I can get you some shots of what it looks like from here. I'm about 1.75 meters away from the M50, the Canon M50 that I am recording this video with. And normally I try to focus as sharp as I can, and on the nameplate of the 15 to 45 EFM lens, the kit lens that's on the camera, and see how sharp I can get it. And then you try to bend your head underneath underneath me as I'm taking the shot. Oh, wait. Steady shot settings. I had it on 135. Let's bring that back down to 55. All right. And let's see. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So let me use my magnifier so I get it as sharp as I can. There we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, that was 1.8. Let's do, what else do you want to do? Let's do 5.6, just because that seems to be a favorite number of ours, right? All right, so let's again use the magnifier to see that there's really no focus shift at all on that, so very cool. All right, is that 5.6? 1, 2, 3. All right, so that was at 1.8 and 5.6, just to show you what that looks like from here. And as you can see, not bad from wide open to even 5.6. It's sharp enough, as they say. It's nothing to win any sharpness awards on, but, and I do mean but,
Like big butts and I cannot lie.
it's sharp enough. And if sharp enough is good enough for me, good enough for you, it's probably good enough for you guys. That's right. So, you want to see some sample photos? Sample photos of Dylan? Okay, here's Dylan at 1.8. Very good. And how about 5.6? Let's take a look at Dylan at 5.6. Ready? Go. And how about some random stuff? Pictures other than Dylan just stuff like boats and butterflies and cars and flowers and trees and lakes and picnic tables and other children and other beautiful people. You're like, what do you mean? Why won't there be more pictures of Dylan? I don't know. Well, here's some random stuff. At $50 or $100, can we recommend this lens?
Yes.
You want to recommend it? Yeah, we can recommend it. Yeah. All right. So get yourself a copy. You'll be happy. Get yourself a Super Takumar, a Super Multi-Coated Takumar. You'll be happy with those too. Yeah. So, with that said, how about we do our little plug for Luminar? Luminar AI and Luminar Neo. It's the software that I've been using the last couple of years. All kinds of bells and whistles. You know, it's like a mini Lightroom type thing, but it's only $80. One-time fee, $80, and it's yours for life. You know, it has all kinds of AI and stuff. AI, masking AI, portrait AI, cropping AI, power line removal, spot dust removal. What else? What other kind of removal do we have? Scenery lighting, all that kind of stuff. And why do we like AI? Because it makes our life easy, right? Yeah, it's easy. You got a picture, click, 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 click. Boom, you're done. Move on to the next picture. Instead of like with Lightroom, you spend like an hour with the same damn photo and then finally move on to another one. While everybody in the rest of the world is moving on. You're only on 2 or 3 pictures. How about a discount? Everybody likes a discount, right? You want to save $10? Click below. If you click in the link below and buy Luminar, a copy of it, you'll save $10. And if you save $10, we get kickback from that, right? Kickback, everybody likes kickback. Well, we like kickback. Yeah, kickback. And what does Dylan get for that $10? Dylan want $1 million.
$1 million.
And you could save up your $1 million and you could buy Daddy a house and
Get the fuck out of here.
a car. And well, you're not really going to get all that stuff with $1 million. Might be a pretty shitty house and a shitty car. But it's a good start though, right? $1 million, hey, why not? So help this guy get $1 million, buy a copy of Luminar. And you'll also be supporting the company called Skylum, who is in Ukraine, dealing with the crappy Russian army led by crappy Putin. And all this time that all this fighting is going on, they're still producing updates and things for this software, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, a lot of other companies may be going, oh, there's a war, and they run into hiding or leave the country or something else. These guys stay in Ukraine, they stay working, they stay releasing stuff all the time. Kudos to them. So support Skylum. Yeah. Get yourself a copy of Luminar. All right. And how about you support us, right? Because here at Modesty Photography, we're all about tips and tricks and vintage lenses and economical things, saving you money. Every now and then we'll talk about expensive things. I know there's some people out there who go, hey, you're talking about something that's like the price of a car. But that's not all that common. So, but I talk about anything to do with photography. So, yeah. So how about you support us and subscribe? And how about Dylan? Want to say subscribe? And how about we do a 2-finger? Well, your 2-finger, my 2-finger. That's 4-finger. A 4-finger subscribe. Subscribe. And what else does YouTube like besides subscribers? They like thumbs up too, right? Thumbs up. You want to show them the thumbs up, girls? Thumbs up. Do 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 do. Thumbs up. Uh-huh. And I think that was it, right? Once you get to the thumbs up part, you're happy. You see your blonde girl in front there going, thumbs up, thumbs up. Yeah. You think that's funny. I know you do. So, yeah, that's all we could think of. People should always come back, right? Come back next week because you belong here. And where do they belong? What's the name of our show? This was Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Dylan. That's right. Dylan says, come on back next week. We release one of these every Friday. Friday our time here in Vietnam. So, is that all you could think of to say? You want to thank people? Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for being you. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. All right? Okay. You want to say bye-bye now? All right. So, 1, 2, 3. Bye-bye.
Here I am.